and good morning. Well, it's morning where I am, and I wanted to jump in and do this solo episode and just introduce you to some changes that you're going to be seeing on the postcard. On the postcard? Oh, I clearly haven't had enough caffeine yet, and if you're watching on YouTube, here's my cup of tea just to show that I am going to be topping up on caffeine. But I wanted to be just telling you what is changing about the podcast, not the postcard, I don't even know where that came from, but the podcast, because I've been teasing for quite some while, if you watch me on social, if you're following me on Instagram or LinkedIn, that there are going to be some changes, some quite big changes to the podcast. And yeah, so let's just run through them. First of all, this is the second or third episode now that I am filming both, or recording I should say, both film and audio, because, you know, there's such a push at the moment that, you know, so many people are listening to podcasts on YouTube. So I thought, you know, might as well try and put the podcast episodes on YouTube, even just for the SEO. Just why not? Let's see what comes of it. But don't worry, if you listen on Apple, on Stitcher, on Spotify, oh my gosh, on Alexa, what else are we on? We're on so many things, but if you, whatever podcast station you listen to us on, we are going to be staying on that station. It's just that we are now on YouTube as well. So if you want to see my crazy face and me watching, I really can't talk this morning, and me drinking tea at the same time, then you can also catch us on YouTube. So that's the first thing. The second thing, as you've probably noticed, is the podcast has got a new title, which is The Confident CEO. We've moved from bloggers creating courses because I just feel like the conversation has shifted. So we started out as bloggers creating courses because right at the beginning, the conversation was very much to the blogging community and very much around creating an online course and running an online course. But as the podcast episodes continued, as they got created, as they got put out there, as I got feedback from you, my lovely audience, as the conversation with you guys grew, as my audience grew, as I was getting reviews, what I was noticing was that the conversation was much more around the business aspects of the podcast, as well as, you know, more than just the online courses. So this kind of got me thinking that there needed to be a little bit of a shift for the podcast, hence why we're having this rebrand. So, you know, I've got my thinking cap on, I've got a mastermind, which is called the Confident CEO Mastermind. And I've also just been thinking much more about, you know, the business. Again, if you follow me on social, you'll have noticed that my business, and I did a podcast episode about this a couple of weeks ago, but the business is shifting much more around the business side. The business is shifting around business side. I know what I mean, it makes sense. But the business is shifting much more around the business coaching as opposed to just online course coaching. Now, I'm still doing the online course coaching, but that forms part of the wider business model now. And because, you know, you can have an online course that you're putting into your business model. So I'm still doing the online course coaching, but that forms part of my wider circle of business mentoring now. So again, with the podcast, it just felt like there needed to be that little bit of a shift, but very much with the business, there's still going to be the conversation around online courses. So if you've been with us since the beginning because you love the whole online course conversation, we're still going to be doing that because online courses can form part of your bigger business model. So the conversations, though, that we've been having in the last few months with guests, you'll probably have noticed have already been shifting naturally to these conversations around wider business topics anyway. And actually what I've noticed is that the listenership has been going up and up and up the more we've concentrated on these types of topics, hence the shift. So that's the second shift, is that we have changed the podcast title to The Confident CEO, which I'm really excited about. I think it's brilliant. I think it fits the vibe, the energy so much more. With that, we've got new podcast artwork, which you'll be seeing going up on Instagram, on LinkedIn, all those places. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll also stick a picture up here as well. Let me know what you think of it. You'll notice that it's not too different. You know, the wording has obviously changed. There's a new picture of me, but, you know, principally it's still that fun vibe of pink that you see everywhere on my website, and I feel is starting to, well, it is my brand colour now, and I've got the white, I've got the clean lines. So let me know what you think about the artwork. I would love to know. But yeah, so those are the main big changes. What I would love you to do is tag me on Instagram, send me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn. I'm at Verity Songon on both of them. I'm the only Verity Songon on both of them as well. But send me a DM. Let me know what you think of the changes to the podcast. I'd absolutely love to know. And the other really fun thing that I would love you to do as well is snap a screenshot or, you know, picture of you, a boomerang, whatever, watching or listening to this episode, and tag me in your stories and let me know what you think of the changes. I'm so excited. We're coming up with the 19th of October that I'm recording and putting this episode out today, and we have got limited, I can't remember exactly how many weeks, but limited weeks until the end of the year. But even until the end of the year, we have got some amazing guests that we are going to be putting out on the podcast. I am so excited for the guests that we're going to be putting out there. We've got some around general business conversations, and we've also got some more specific online course topics as well. So listen out for them. It's amazing. So much going on, but fundamentally, the podcast is staying with the same goodness, the same actionable tips, but I would love to know what you think of the new branding, the new direction. So shout me out and let me know. And otherwise, I will see you in the next episode.